You're driving home from work. Normal night. Out of nowhere, blue and red lights fill your mirror. You pull over, hand the officer your license, answer a few questions, and just when you think you're about to drive away, he leans in and says, "Mind if I take a look inside your car?" Most people panic. Most people say yes. And most people have no idea that in that single moment, they just gave up one of the most powerful legal rights they have as an American citizen. Today, I'm going to give you the one sentence every driver in this country needs to know. Not because you're hiding something, not because you're a criminal, but because your rights are not optional, and you have to be the one to protect them. Let's start with the most important thing you need to understand. When a police officer asks if they can search your car, that is not a routine question. That is a legal request for your permission. And the reason they're asking is because without your permission, they usually cannot search your vehicle. This is the Fourth Amendment at work. It protects every American from unreasonable searches and seizures. In plain language, that means the government, including law enforcement, cannot just go through your private belongings without a good reason, and, in most cases, without a warrant. Now here's where most drivers go wrong. They think that refusing a search makes them look guilty. They think cooperation will make the stop go faster. They think the officer is just being friendly and asking out of habit. None of that is true. When a police officer asks to search your car, they are looking for something. Otherwise, they wouldn't ask. And here's the critical part. If they had enough legal justification to search without asking, they wouldn't need your permission in the first place. So what do you say? You say this: "I do not consent to a search." That's it. 5 words. Calm, clear, and direct. You don't need to argue. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to justify why. You simply state that you do not consent to a search. This sentence does something powerful the moment you say it. It legally removes your consent from the equation. It puts the burden back on the officer to establish another legal basis for searching your vehicle. And if they don't have one, the search cannot happen. Write it down. Put it in your notes app. Say it out loud right now so it feels natural when the moment comes. I do not consent to a search. Those 5 words can protect your freedom. Now let me walk you through exactly how this conversation should go. Because how you handle the moments before and after that sentence matters a great deal. When you're pulled over, pull over safely and quickly, turn off your engine, roll down your window, and keep your hands visible on the steering wheel. Do not reach for anything until you are asked. The goal in those first few seconds is to signal to the officer that you are calm, cooperative, and not a threat. When the officer asks for your license, registration, and insurance, provide those. You are legally required to. Let them run your information. Answer basic questions like whether you know why you were pulled over. Stay polite. Stay calm. You can be respectful without surrendering your rights. Then comes the moment. They ask, "Do you mind if I search your vehicle?" Or, "Can I take a look in your car?" Or any variation of that question. You look at them, stay calm, and say, "I do not consent to a search." You can add "officer" at the end if it helps you feel more polite. "I do not consent to a search, officer." That's fine. What matters is the core sentence is said clearly and without hesitation. Now let's talk about what happens next, because a lot of people are afraid of this part. The officer might push back. They might say, "If you've got nothing to hide, you shouldn't have a problem." This is one of the most common pressure tactics used during traffic stops, and you need to be prepared for it. The answer is simple and true. Your rights are not about hiding anything. They are about the principle that the government must follow the law, just like everyone else. You don't have to explain that to the officer. You can simply repeat, "I do not consent to a search." They may say, "This will go a lot faster if you just let me look." Again, that may or may not be true, but consent you give under that kind of social pressure is still legally valid. Once you say yes, you have consented. Stay firm. Repeat the sentence if needed. They may bring out a K-9 unit. Here's what you need to know about that. A police dog alerting on your vehicle can be used as probable cause to search. This is a separate legal pathway that doesn't require your consent. If they have a dog and it alerts, they may legally be able to search at that point. But here's what doesn't change. You still do not say yes to consent, because if that search turns into a court case later, how it began matters. Let's also talk about what probable cause actually means, because this word gets thrown around a lot, and most people don't fully understand it. Probable cause means the officer has specific, articulable facts that lead a reasonable person to believe a crime has been, is being, or is about to be committed. Smelling marijuana, seeing a weapon in plain view, or having a warrant are examples of things that can give police the legal authority to search without your consent. This is an important distinction. If an officer tells you they are searching your vehicle because they have probable cause, that is a different situation from asking for your permission. In that case, refusing will not stop the search. But you should still clearly state, "I do not consent to this search." So the record reflects that any search being conducted was not based on your voluntary agreement. Why does that matter? Because in court, the legal standard for a consent search is different from the standard for a probable cause search. If the search later turns out to have been illegal, having your non-consent on record can be the difference between evidence being thrown out and evidence being used against you. Here are a few other things every driver should know about this situation. Never physically resist a search. If the officer searches your vehicle despite your refusal, do not touch them, do not block them, do not raise your voice in a threatening way. State clearly and calmly one more time that you do not consent, and then let your attorney handle it in court. Physically resisting a search can result in additional charges and can put you in genuine physical danger. The place to fight an illegal search is in a courtroom, not on the side of the road. Always remember that the officer's actions during a traffic stop are being recorded by their body camera, their dash camera, and in many cases, your own phone. You have the right to record the interaction in most states as long as you are not interfering. This recording is your protection. Stay calm so the recording works in your favor. After the stop, document everything you remember as soon as possible. Write down the time, location, the officer's name or badge number if you caught it, and everything that was said. If you believe your rights were violated, contact a civil rights attorney or your local ACLU chapter. Here's the bottom line, and this is the part I really want you to hold on to. Your rights are not a reward for good behavior. They are not something you earn by being cooperative enough or polite enough or by having nothing to hide. They are yours by birth, guaranteed by the Constitution, and they exist precisely for moments like this, when the power of the state is standing right outside your car window. Knowing your rights is not anti-police. It is pro-freedom. The entire American legal system is built on the idea that the government must have justification before it intrudes into your life. That principle is worth protecting every single time, including on the side of the road at 10 o'clock at night. So the next time an officer leans in and says, "Mind if I take a look?" You know what to say. "I do not consent to a search." Say it clearly, say it calmly, and then let the law do the rest. Share this video with every driver you know, because knowing this one sentence before you need it could change everything.